Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Wankers?
Hello, Wankers. It's Vegas, baby. Championship's done. Put it all on Black 33. Max Verstappen, the man, the myth, the four-time legend. Guenther, are you eating your words? You said you and I had McLaren this. We were on the McLaren Delulu bus. And look at us now, sitting by the side of the road as Max Verstappen rides off into the four-time World Championship sunset.
Yeah, but we are not surprised now. We were surprised after Brazil. Even we, in our ignorance, realized that it's done now, you know. But before Brazil was a different story. So, yeah, we have to eat our words. We eat humble pie, basically, you know.
That's right. We're eating humble pie
You gave so many people hope out there, which was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary to give those people hope.
Yeah, but at least they had hope for a period of time, you see, which is pretty
good. And then dash.
Boom.
Dashed
in Brazil.
Well,
you know.
And more than dashed because, you know, there was also hope that McLaren's maybe going to win the Constructors' Championship. Listen, we talked to Zach Brown while we were in Vegas. You seemed very confident that they're going to win the Constructors' Championship. Zach Brown, not as confident. That episode will be coming out down the line, but now it's looking like, hold on, Ferrari might be in this. But before we get into all that, we got to let you know this is Vanka Hours, brought to you by BetMGM. We're talking Vegas Grand Prix. We're going to be talking Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, the radio heard around the world, Max Verstappen's four-time champion, Mercedes back on the podium. What's going on there? Everything Vegas. We're chatting with Guenther Steiner. Guenther, where should we begin?
Wherever you want. There's enough to be talked about. Otherwise, we run out of time. Sorry about that.
Were you smoking? Were you smoking out there in Vegas? What were you doing?
You hung over?
What's going on?
It smelled. Everybody else did. It's just the residual smoke which was around, you know. But no, I wasn't smoking. I'm just working hard since 4 weeks and talking since 4 weeks, you know, on the book tour, on TV, everything. I'm just running out of voice. I've got a cough. I'm just happy to survive.
Yeah, he's the
busiest man. You didn't party at all?
No. If I go and party in Vegas, I wouldn't be here now. I would be in hospital, you know. I just made it without partying, never mind partying, you know. So,
do you ever go onto the tables? Have you ever done it?
No, I'm not a gambler. No, I never played. No.
But you are a betting man, and you made bets on McLaren this year. And right now, the Lando Norris bet is done. But let's talk constructors. We'll get to Max. We'll get to Mercedes. But the only thing that's still alive, that's keeping us engaged, is this Constructors' Championship. Right now, I think it's like a 20-something point swing. Let me get this.
24, I think it was 24. Yeah,
24 points between four drivers of the next two races. Ferrari looking a little bit more racy than McLaren. I mean, what do you make of Vegas? Do you think that bodes well for Ferrari, or that's a sign of things to come for Ferrari, or do you think McLaren's going to hold on to this thing?
I think McLaren, if they're not making mistakes, they're holding on to it, but they continue to make them. You know, that's my biggest fear. You know, it's like they are not in the moment doing themselves any favors. So, you know, 24 points, it's not a lot, but should be enough. It's 2 races to go. They've got 2 good drivers. The car is good, even, you know, but it will be a tough 2 races for them to defend.
I think it's Ferrari all the way. I mean, look, Sainz is trying to get as many wins as he can before he goes to Williams. Like he's
never wins again. No,
he's never going to win again. It's his last. It's like he's in the mansion and his lease is up, and then he's going to a shitty apartment. So he's trying to party in the mansion for as long as he can. Yep. Leclerc actually seems like he maybe wants to get second place in this championship, right? He that matters to him. He's upset when he doesn't get second or third place. Like that's bothersome to him. Lando is dejected, right? He's sort of like he missed out on the championship. He's kind of whatever. I don't know what's been going on with Oscar. He had the brain fart where he was over the line. I think Ferrari, they're locked in. Both guys are motivated.
Yeah, but can the car do it? I mean, Vegas was completely different, as we could see with Mercedes all of a sudden coming back to a form that nobody can beat them. I think that had to do with the smooth track, with no bumps, nothing. They could. I think they can, when they run the car lower, they can perform. As soon as they have to lift the car, and I think the car, which in general, on a more normal track, I think the McLaren is still the best car, even compared with the Ferrari. So the Ferrari is in between. But on a normal track like Qatar, the McLaren should be faster than the Ferrari. But again, they do not have to mess it up.
So, but what do you make of the kind of McLaren? Because there was a period there where it was like, oh, McLaren's clearly the fastest car on track. There was a nice little chunk there where they seemed to have the edge, but now that seems like that edge has fallen away.
Yeah, I would say it's fallen away in Vegas. I think the edge comes back in Qatar. It's too many Middle East races. I have to think which one it is. And then Abu Dhabi, I think there's a level playing field again for everyone to see who can find the best setup there. But, because Vegas is a little bit special with that high speed.
That long straight.
Yeah, long straight down the strip, It's very special and very flat. If you could see, the cars were not moving at all. There was one where they were touching one instant, but otherwise not. So, but again, it is not a done deal. I wouldn't say and the Ferrari got better the last 3 or 4 races again, So the Mercedes got better as well. So let's see. Because it's not only them two, it's also who is losing points against whom, If Ferrari wins and in the middle they get a Mercedes, then it's pretty quick. 24 points are gone quick, so.
And the Ferrari, I mean, they were able to get the job done despite a few things, because Carlos Sainz wanted to come in earlier. They ran a little a simulation where they said that Carlos could have and maybe would have gotten P2 had they pitted him when Carlos wanted to.
Yeah, but that's a lot too many ifs there, too many ifs there, Yeah,
but that does seem to happen though with Ferrari from time to time. They Carlos is out here trying to pull one strategy. The people whose job it is say do another strategy, and then when they look back, the hindsight being 2020, it feels to me more often than not they say if they had listened to Carlos Sainz, they might have been in a better position.
But I don't think he could have defended against Lewis. He was too fast, Lewis. Because you don't know how much Lewis had up his sleeve. With the speed Lewis was going, because he knew he couldn't win, is one thing. But Lewis knowing he can get second and he drives harder. There's too many ifs and could and things involved in this hindsight strategies, in my opinion, normally. Because otherwise, obviously, we are always smarter afterwards. But this is like, oh yeah, sure, if Lewis would have gone the same speed, maybe they've got them. But who says that Lewis wouldn't have gone faster?
Yeah. Sticking with Ferrari for a second, Leclerc seemed very upset at the end of that race. He was told that Ferrari that Carlos wasn't going to push him, and then he pushed him in that last stint and overtook him, and he was very upset. He seemed very surprised that the guy that they're firing didn't play ball. Are you surprised are you surprised that Sainz isn't playing ball? Are you surprised that Leclerc is upset? Are you scandalized by that behavior? What is your impression?
No, not at all what you said. I mean, obviously Carlos, as you said before, I mean, why would he care? It's his last hallelujah, I think, to get to a podium, so why would he not do it? He does it. And obviously, is Charles upset? Yes, sure, he wants to become second. But then again, it's like one of these things. It's racing, and I don't know the deal they had between the drivers before. So if there was a clear deal, then obviously Carlos didn't stick to it. But Carlos says, "Who cares? In 2 races, I'm not here anyway anymore. So I don't need any mates here."
Yeah, Leclerc talked about he sometimes we talk, oh, that guy's too nice. That guy's too nice. Is Lando Norris too nice? It's a conversation that Brian and I have with each other. Is so-and-so too nice? And then to hear Leclerc say, I'm too fucking nice. I'm too nice. To hear him say it was interesting to us. Is that a narrative that some people, that other drivers talk about each other or themselves? Like, oh, that guy's too nice.
No, I think it's very trendy in the moment after what we see with Lando. He's too nice. He's too nice. So now it becomes a thing, being too nice or not. In my opinion, it's like nobody thought about it. And after Lando had all these I'm too nice and he's too nice. He doesn't race hard enough. Now it's becoming a thing. What is nice and what is racing hard?
You hear Charles Leclerc say it. He says he said it on the radio. Like, I listen to the team. I don't go against team. He didn't go against team order. Now listen, Charles Leclerc has gone against some team orders in his day. Let's remember when they were, I think, going for second and third in Monza. I think maybe last year when they were like, don't race each other, and then all of a sudden Charles is like burning out all of his tires.
Nice,
so.
Yeah.
There's been moments on either side of that, but I think it's an interesting, the mental chess, the mental kind of like, this is my rep, this is how I race, this is how I do it. Expectation, I think, is important when you're racing against people. We talked to Coulthard on the pod recently, and he said, when I was going up against Michael Schumacher, I knew what it was. I knew what the vibe was, and it was like, proceed with caution. Versus other guys where, I can take advantage of this guy, or, sometimes it's a loose can, I don't know what I'm going to get. Is he going to race me clean, or is he going to race me dirty? I don't know. You had K-Mag and Grosjean. They both had reps for years. Those guys had reps. You had guys that didn't fuck around. I mean, they crashed a lot, but they were hard racers.
Yeah, they were hard racers, and every man needs to decide how hard he wants to be a racer, how nice he wants to be. Nobody else can tell them. It's their rep. But I think if you want to win, you cannot be nice. I mean, nice guys never win.
Did you ever sit down with Kevin and say, could you be a little less nice? Could you be a little nicer?
No.
Seems like you... Really?
No.
You were very happy with him tangling with everybody.
Except the teammate. That's what I always told them. Fight whoever you want with, but you two... normally fight between you two, which is not good for the team.
Right.
But if you fight with somebody else out there, that is what you want a driver to do, in my opinion, or I want them to do. You
were happy to see him lose a front wing in P17? You were, fine with that?
We are not always P17. Whoa.
Not always.
Don't
no, but I've
here,
seen, but he would lose some pointless wings.
I don't know. I mean, if you're 17, to lose a wing is not something you want to do, but it happens. But then again, there where you make your... Because if people think you're not fighting for anything, next time when you're fighting for P9, they expect you to do like he's not racing anyway. But if they know, this idiot lost the front wing for P17, guess what he will lose for P9?
Right,
I mean,
right.
Yeah. So there where you create your... what do you call it? Your rep, your rep. That's the right word. Yeah, that is where you create it. I mean, you cannot say, when I write your letter that I didn't fight you because I was in P17, but if you're in 9, then I fight you. No, you need to create this. People see, wow, there is the idiot coming. I better watch it.
There was the best example of that. I think was Mick Schumacher was on for his first points for you guys. I think it might have been in Coda, and he was in P10. Mick
was in
Schumacher.
Was it? I think it was in Miami. It doesn't matter.
It was in America. It was
it was in Miami.
Yeah, it was in the United States.
When he went into Vettel, I think he had the clash with Vettel. I think.
Or it might have not been, but I remember he was near the end, and he decided Max Verstappen was having a bad race.
Okay.
I don't know which. It might not have been his first points, but he was up for points, and he decided he was going to race Max for an extra place, and Max was just not having it. And I was just even Max in a race that he did not care about, that he was not in, was just was running Mick Schumacher off the road. It was I don't care how out of this race I am, I will run you off the road. And I was thinking Mick, what are you doing? Just take your P10 or whatever.
Yeah, and be happy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're fighting with the world champion.
Yeah.
You're not fighting with the schmuck.
But maybe another guy would have been you know what, I'm P9. It's not my day. I'll just let this guy through. But he wouldn't do it.
No, that's not Max's way. And Guenther, I mean, if if this is your mentality, it's you don't have to be nice to win. I think we got to get Nikita Mazepin back on this track because that's a guy who was not nice. All right, we digress. Let's.
All right, yeah, we digress. Yeah, we go back to the past. It's too far away now. We have forgotten about Nikita. Who?
Yeah,
that's right. Vankas, as you know, we have teamed up with BetMGM this season, and we are using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks.
And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here is how it works. You download the BetMGM app and you sign up using the bonus code DADDY, because we're fun. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use the bonus code DADDY when you sign up. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and get your first $1,500 first bet offer today. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and over. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Indiana. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Mercedes, obviously.
Mercedes.
They seem like they always seem like the dog that caught the fire hydrant. Like they're like, oh my God, we're fast. Like, how did we get so fast? Like, what? They're always randomly fast. Can you explain? And they can't explain it. They can't replicate it. Can you explain this to us?
The only explanation I would have is like, I think in racetrack where there is no bumps, they can run the car very low and the car works better there. That's my only explanation for it, Otherwise, as you say, if they don't know, how should we know, But I think it has to do with that one. But the whole weekend already in FP1, they were really fast, It was like, wow, where is this coming from, And then FP2, FP3, they were pretty dominant, this week. Not pretty, they were very dominant this weekend because for George, it wasn't even, he was just driving away, to be honest.
Right.
So, but it's good for the championship. And again, if they find a way to get around this, right height changes to not lose their air or to lose their downforce, they could be a contender next year again, So
what do you have to do to fix that? Is that like I remember Haas.
If I would know that, they would employ me. I wouldn't be unemployed. So you're asking the wrong guy here.
But in theory,
Is it not just a suspension issue? If they can run it low, the bumps are what mess them up.
Yeah, because the car moves and then you lose the aero. I mean, they obviously, I think they know what they've got in the wind tunnel, but they cannot do it on the because the suspension can take the bumps out, but you still cannot run the car very low because then you touch too much and then you wear the plank out and then you're disqualified. So they have to lift the car, and I guess as soon as they lift the car up, they lose a lot of performance, and the other cars are dealing with it better. That's my opinion about it. I mean, I have no certainty, but it was pretty evident that down there in Las Vegas, they ran the cars pretty low, and they were very stable. They didn't move a lot, the cars, vertically, and that maybe made them go faster. But as I said, I didn't get a call from James Allison asking me to sort that problem out. Maybe not. Maybe this afternoon he calls, So,
That's right. After he listens to this episode.
Exactly, he will know. Guenther knows how to do it, yeah. So.
But then, Mercedes had the dominant weekend, but then it was again one of these situations where George outqualifies Lewis, where Lewis isn't quite there in qualifying, and then all of a sudden, even though on race day, Lewis maybe had more pace, Lewis was flying. Obviously, George was flying as well, but there was no chance for Lewis to catch him, for Lewis to win that race because he started so out of position.
Yeah, he messed up qualifying. Lewis made a mistake in qualifying. He wasn't slow. He just made a mistake. And obviously, we don't know how much more speed George would have had in the race because for sure, when you've got that advantage, you're not going 100%. You're not taking any risk or nothing. So I think if it would have come, but they were just fast, and Lewis couldn't get to George because he started tense. It's pretty normal, and George was in control of the whole lot.
Do you think if you're Fred at this point, you're a little concerned?
I mean, it's too late to be concerned. It's more like how do we get the best out of Lewis? And obviously, you're thinking, wow, we paid Lewis a lot of money, and Carlos is actually doing a pretty good job, So it's one of the things. But then again, the commercial benefits from having Lewis at Ferrari, they may be outweigh what Carlos is giving with his performance. But I wouldn't write Lewis off. But Lewis isn't getting any younger as well. We never have to forget. But that is the risk they took. And obviously, you live by your choices.
Well, it seems like on a Sunday, there's not much to worry about for Lewis. On race day, he's still right there. But it's just that qualifying pace that he hasn't really had all year. George has had his number in that respect all year. I mean, the battle between them is very close in terms of points. But when you look at their qualifying, George is dominant. And now Lewis is about to go to Ferrari with one of the other best qualifiers on the grid in Charles Leclerc. So when it comes to, there's a lot of talk about Ferrari next year, Lewis coming in, who's going to be number one, et cetera, et cetera. They're paying him all this money, all that jazz. But as I'm looking at it, Lewis, to me, seems like he's going to be playing catch-up the majority of the weekends because Charles is just that quick over one lap. And it seems like in his old age, maybe that's the first thing to go for Lewis, is just that one lap qualifying pace.
Yeah, and for sure, the first 6 races will be the term who is who in the team. Because if Charles outqualifies him constantly, I mean, and the cars there's a lot of quick cars out there. If you don't qualify good, you cannot win a race, It's not like Max did a year or two ago. He qualified, wherever, and he still ran to the front. I mean, Mercedes did it yesterday, but or Lewis did it yesterday, but he didn't run to the front. He ran to second. So I think next year it will be interesting, but I think also Lewis will put a lot of... I'm not saying that he doesn't put effort in now. I mean, for sure he wants to go on a high for Mercedes. But is this little bit more, the determination there next year to show I can do this for Ferrari? I think yes. But, right. As you say, Charles is no fool. So neither is Carlos, and if I say, Carlos beats Charles, yeah, but Carlos is pretty quick,
Yeah, the other problem is the cars are so close now that, like, if Lewis is like a 10th off, like there could be 2-3 cars in between them, and he can't just be like, all right, I'll qualify one place behind him and I'll make it up in the race with my racecraft. It's like you might be a few rows back all of a sudden, and that's just something that he's going to have to contend with. I mean, that's something that I think Checo's contending with this year. Is like, I don't think he's that much worse than Max was. Like I don't think he's that much further off, but like everybody's closer. So if he's like a few tenths off, he's just nowhere.
Yeah, but with Checo, I have to say it's not a few tenths; it's normally half a second. So I mean, I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, but I mean we need to be, half a second is a lot. I mean, what did he qualify in Vegas? I don't remember it. It wasn't good. Because he finished
he was out. I think he was out in
Q1. He was out in Q1.
Yeah, he was out in Q1. Yeah, that's not a few tenths. That's at least half a second. So, but
okay. We can talk about Checo. We could also talk about Red Bull because.
Well, I have a question about Checo.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
the rumors are that they're paying for the Checo seat. That the Checo seat is being paid for by Carlos Slim money. Carlos Slim money. That's the rumor, and that's what's keeping him in that seat. I have a question. Why would someone why would you pay for the privilege of being humiliated every week? Like, who would pay for that privilege? What kind of kink is this, Guenther?
I don't think it's paid by Carlos Slim or his companies. And Red Bull doesn't need that money. Everybody thinks Red Bull needs, let it be 20 million, 30 million. I mean, if they win the championship, the constructors, that's your 30 million. I mean, and you're champion. How much is that worth for a company like Red Bull? So I think that's all a little bit of bullshit. He's in the seat because somebody's paying for him.
Then explain it. Then the people are just trying to then give the explanation.
I don't have it. I think Max wants him as a teammate. That is one of the things. And he has got a contract and they honor the contract. But I do not think, as I said before the summer break, I thought he will be out after the summer break. They renewed him. If he's still in the car, and I don't wish him bad, I wish him to be back, but I wish him to be back with his performance where he was, because he was good, Checo. He won races, but in the moment, it doesn't work for him. He cannot do it, and obviously he sees it. Because there cannot be always a problem with something, over a whole season. So I think he's out of the car at the end of the season. And obviously there is contracts in place. And maybe there is penalties in place where they say, we don't do this or we don't want to make Checo lose face, to get sacked. So maybe that's just the end of the year. He retires or does something like this. And off he goes, But it's like one of these things.
Well, there was a lot of talk this year obviously Max had the dominant beginning of the season. Then Checo, then as Max fell off, there was a vibe of like, Max is finally experiencing the same car that Checo's been experiencing. But then you watch these last few races, and especially you watch in Vegas, they bring the wrong wing to Vegas.
I don't think it was the wrong wing. I spoke with Christian. It wasn't the wrong wing. He told me they always trim the wings, because they don't have a low downforce wing, a high speed wing. They trim some intermediate wing, and they did that one already in I think Monza. They had to do the same. Baku, they trimmed the wing. So I mean, is it the right thing to do? But they don't have a package for that, so they just... Did you see how they trimmed it by hand?
Yeah, with a little circular saw.
It's called a Dremel, right? A Dremel.
A Dremel?
A Dremel?
Yeah. In composite language. Get the Dremel out. And basically, when you hear that thing in the back of a garage, somebody's in the shit because they're modifying parts. So...
How often was the Dremel going at Haas?
The first year... 24/7. It was running. We couldn't buy enough of them, We had to rebuild at the racetrack, So
that should be your logo. Is just the Dremel.
A Dremel, yeah.
Two Dremels crossed.
We need to call Dremel up for sponsorship, That's
right.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Cutting parts, cutting cost, cutting staff, whatever you can cut.
Use.
Cutting drivers, yes.
The Dremel, yeah.
The Dremel. I mean, when I saw that there was a picture of one of the Red Bull mechanics dremeling the rear wing, and I said, "This is a Haas special right here." I really felt I was like, Guenther Steiner would be proud of this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait, but it seems like do they trace? How do they figure out? How do they not go too far? Do they trace it?
Oh yeah, you see the line. I mean, they know what they're doing. The design or the cutting line comes from the wind tunnel, from the design office. They put it on there. They cut a template, then put a scribe line on it, and then they cut it off. To get rid of drag on the car. I mean, is it the right way to do it? No, but it maybe is the most efficient way in the budget cap. Rear wings if you need, because a team like Red Bull will have 6 wings of each spec. So 6 wings, that's, you're getting close to $1 million. So you say, hey, maybe we lose a little bit of performance, but we can, the performance or the money is better used in another area of the car or on a racetrack configuration where we run more often than this one.
I see. Now, but if Red Bull didn't forget a wing, why did Marco say that they forgot a wing?
I don't know if they forgot to. How would he know what they forget and what they design and why they do it?
I don't know. He's kind of in charge of the team.
No, I think Christian is in charge of the team. He's an advisor. So he's not running the production schedule. I mean, not yet anyway, maybe.
Do you think that maybe Christian's saying it as a way of saving face? That, no, we didn't forget a wing. We know exactly what we're doing.
We would forget. I think he means, again, I'm not wanting to take, I think to develop a wing, especially for this occasion, for this racetrack. They forgot to develop, and because they thought they can get away with it, with this wing, and then they couldn't get away, and they made the decision to trim an existing wing, because they didn't have enough money anymore in the budget cap. That is the interpretation of how I see it, knowing the doctor.
Does it make you feel kind of good seeing a rich team like Red Bull have to pull some of the same shit you used to have to pull at Haas?
Because no, it doesn't make me feel happy. We had to pull it because we didn't have any money,
I know, but look, you got a smile on your face. I mean, but you didn't have any money, so you were forced to do stuff like this. And now with the budget cap and with the cost cap, now the rich teams are having to kind of get roll up their sleeves and
get the Dremel out. Yeah, get the Dremel out. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Does that give you a little bit? I mean, it seems like I love, thinking like, oh, if that's why they did this, that's the cost cap working perfectly.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I would have answered you. It looks like cost cap is working, because otherwise Red Bull for sure would have a special wing for this occasion, but they couldn't, So it's working. So, it levels out the teams.
Well, even with that cut down rear wing, Max Verstappen was still able to outperform Lando Norris and seal the championship. Big, huge moment. obviously he sealed it in Brazil, but for him to come in Vegas and get it done in Vegas, more just kind of championship effort from Max. 4-time world champion. What does that say to you about his legacy? Where does the 4th championship put him?
Pretty high up, and how he did it, also his personality. Some drivers win championship, don't have a lot of personality, he's got personality. I think he puts them up with the big boys. I mean, to the real big boys, you need 7 these days, and yeah, that's what it is,
Okay, I'm gonna put you in hot water with your German speakers.
Yeah.
Where does it put him with Vettel? They both got 4. Where
4,
does it put him?
exactly. But what I think, Max, his attitude to racing, he will be remembered longer. He's less methodical. He's just a sheer racer. His personality and everything. But performance-wise, it puts him at the same level as Vettel. Vettel won 4 championships. He won 4. Obviously, I don't know where Max is going next after Red Bull, if he stays there forever. But, you achieve the next step when you are world champion for more than one team. That is the next step, and not many have done that,
Let me push back, though. Maybe it's better to do it at more than one team, but I also think it's an achievement to do it in more than one regulation set. Like, Vettel just did it in 1 regulation set. Max has now done it in 2 regulation sets. Like, Lewis has done it in 2 regulation sets and 2 teams. Schumacher's done it in 2 regulation sets and two teams. Alonso only did it in 1 regulation set, right? Some of these guys, I'm trying to think, like, who did it in like you're basically just driving the same car.
I think we think that there's a added kind of
value,
impressiveness and value that he did it at the end of the turbo hybrid against Hamilton,
Lewis.
And now he's done it in this regulation set. And then if he can pull one off in 2026 or beyond, then all of a sudden, even though he's with one team, it's different cars. Whereas Vettel, you could argue, I don't know if it's right or not, but you could argue it's just like, oh, well, that car, Red Bull just had the number during that era.
And he was good at that specific car.
Right.
Or the car was specifically good at that time, But
right.
anyway, I think it has some value. I don't think you're wrong. But for me, the biggest thing is always, if you're in more than one car world champion, in more than one team, that shows that you can do it, Obviously, sometimes it goes to your advantage because it's difficult to get into another car which then wins. I mean, that for example, if Lewis is going to win a championship with Ferrari, that pushes him to the top of that legend status,
Yeah, I'm like, has anyone ever won with 3 different teams?
Lauda, right?
Maybe like...
No?
Lauda only 2?
Ferrari and McLaren, he won.
Oh,
maybe like Fangio? I'm like, other than
Fangio won at Mercedes, Ferrari, and...
Fangio won everything,
Yeah. But in the 50s, when
it was a different world. It was a
whole other world.
Yeah, but
I mean, if Lewis can pull that off, I think. Yeah. I mean, obviously it'll be the 8th anyway, so that'll already be like in that status. But the added element of the 3 different teams
would be. Yeah.
Ayrton won 2 at 2 teams. Michael won at 2 teams. Yeah, Lewis would win 8. If Lewis won at Ferrari, he'd win 8, and he'd win at 3 teams. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck for anybody coming behind him to achieve that one. Yeah.
Well, okay, so Max, he's at 4, but GP said the scary thing is that he's just getting better. I mean, GP said he's just getting better and better. So, I mean, where do you see? I mean, Max implies that he's not in this for that long of a time. That he wants to retire at some point. When I think maybe when the dip starts to happen, in gambling, right? You win, you ride red, you ride black on the roulette table, and you ride it. And then when the dip comes, you get what the smart move is. You get off the table. But how many do you think Max can potentially win?
It depends how good his car is, which is having. Because this year he won and not the car. We have to give that credit to him. So next year, if he starts with this in the same position like this year, I don't think he can win because it's just too hard. The car is not there. But going back, I don't think even if Max says emotionally, yeah, I'm not here this long, I think he will be here quite a bit, because in the end, that is what he likes to do. I mean, I do not think that there's anybody out there which puts so much effort in the simulator. And I'm not saying in the simulator at the factory, in the whole spinning, dancing, singing machine, but in a simulator just at home as well. They're quite sophisticated, and I think he puts a lot of work in there, and that shows that he still wants to do it. Because the first thing is when a driver doesn't want to do it anymore, saying, "Oh, I don't need a simulator. I know what I'm doing."
Have you seen that happen before?
Yeah. I mean, all the drivers normally, they don't like to go to the sim anymore. Once they, and I don't want to speak with any people about any people which in the moment, but if you would compare the time Max spends on a simulator and what Charles or Lando spends on a simulator, I think we would be surprised. I don't know the number, but I'm pretty sure we would be surprised that Max is doing more.
When you say simulator, do you mean like the official Red Bull simulator or like his home rig where he's just playing
home rig as well? Mainly home rig, I would say. Because Red Bull has got good people. Because the simulator in the factory, if you don't do it permanently, it's difficult to get used to it and to make the right decision of a setup. There is people which I think which do it all the time. Like the reserve driver and development driver and sim drivers. They can actually make the car go quicker. While a race car driver, I think, if you're not in there always, it's difficult.
What's the simulator for a team principal? You're like, oh, Guenther's in the blank all the time.
In the where?
What's the team principal equivalent of the simulator?
Of a simulator.
Or more than that, to make it a little bit easier for you to answer, is what's the first sign that a team principal is kind of not invested?
What is the first sign he's not invested? If he comes late to work.
Oh, so you're almost not invested in this podcast. You got there. You arrived today.
Just in time.
You arrived today immediately, right at noon.
Good. You used to be 5, 10, 15 minutes early. We would have a small talk. You showed up.
We will have the small talk after. I was doing something before this, and I told you why.
Something more important.
There's always a reason, Guenther. There's always an excuse.
Not more important. There's always it's not an excuse. It's a reason. But I was on time because if I come there to do small talk, that is a waste of time because everybody needs to use the time as best as possible.
You were like George crossing the line at Q3. You just got over the line. It was
that is where you need to be, as long as you're not late. And I was running, to get this. I don't know. You can see it. My little cable here,
Ethernet cable. Yeah,
because I forgot it, and I was like, "Wow! If they find out, then I get again." Told off,
Yeah.
You've got your cable on there,
Well, we might think that you're not invested anymore.
Okay, all right then. See you next time. Goodbye, Wankers.
That's right. Speaking of investment, Formula One, a new team's going to be on the grid. Cadillac, yeah. Cadillac.
Seems like it just kind of they've kind of buried it. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's an 11th team.
Yeah. Anyway, Qatar, Abu Dhabi,
First, we fight 2 years not to let them in. We get the DOJ involved. We get the next thing involved is the FBI and the CIA. I give them a license. Just by the way, they got a license. I think a lot of things changed. I mean, I don't know the detail yet because it just it was done over the weekend apparently, but it's Cadillac now. It's not Andretti Global. It's a manufacturer. And obviously, I have no idea what dilution fee they have to pay and so on. But anyway, F1 has decided it's a good thing. So,
After kicking and screaming.
Yeah, for 2 years, yeah.
For 2 years. It's like, it's like me and Brian, getting married one day. It's like kicking and screaming, and then one day we're like, we've always wanted to be here. Suddenly, commitment phobe, and then we're like, this is our dream come true. It seems odd.
I don't know, but I think that the biggest change is that it's not a private team entering, but a manufacturer. I think that has turned the table around,
It's a manufacturer, but the word is they're going to be using a Ferrari engine.
Yeah, to start off with, but 28.
Okay.
Yeah, for 28. I mean, they couldn't do an engine for 26. I mean, if they can get an engine for 28, they're already doing a very good job, in my opinion.
But isn't Dan Tower, isn't the Gainsbridge guy running it, though?
They haven't announced who is running it, so I don't know who is running it. Is it General Motors? But it is more like who is the entrant, It's not like who is running it.
But like who's going to be the team? Is it like, is Cadillac going to run the team, or is it going to be like a Saubery type of team that's actually going to do it?
I think it is. I think it's Cadillac which is running the team in the end. At least they are responsible for it. Who they then employ and how they do it, I have no idea. But the entrant,
right? But the facilities have been built up, right? Like Andretti. Those are Andretti facilities, aren't they? Like the Andretti.
Yeah, but are they using them? Are they using them, or I don't know if they maybe use more in England.
Right. Okay.
I don't have the details, so I need to.
So as a new team that's using a Ferrari engine, joining the grid, that's going to be scattered all over the globe. Some pieces in England, pieces in America. What does Cadillac? Do you have some advice for Cadillac?
I wish them good luck. It's not easy to do. I mean, it's not easy to do. But as I said, I don't know the details of it, how they're going to do it. But I just see it a little bit like Formula One in the moment. It's have you guys seen the facility Lawrence Stroll has put up in Silverstone?
Yeah,
it's something wow. For me, and there's all this. Cadillac has got a facility in Silverstone. Yeah, but it's not the facility Lawrence Stroll has got for Aston Martin.
There's levels.
There is levels. No, it's a different dimension. It's like,
right.
But to put up that facility, to build that one, it takes you at least 3 years, if you start from nothing. So and I don't know how they're exactly going to do it. And I think to do it, manufacturing from the States will be very difficult in Indianapolis.
If only there was somebody with experience bringing a team from America with a Ferrari engine. If only there was a team principal.
Don't look at me.
With experience. That knew how to get a new team onto the grid and work with Ferrari, that spoke Italian but was also American and a big draw.
Who is that?
And
Who is that?
Do you know anyone that has that resume, Matt?
I give the team identity in America immediately. If only there was somebody.
Yeah, if there
Michael
only was
Andretti's
somebody.
gone, so they looks like they need a new figurehead, big time. Maybe wouldn't even have to work that hard. Could still do a podcast,
That's and pay me millions. I mean, that would be a good idea. Don't do a lot. Make podcasts, which I quite enjoy, and just be an advisor. No, I think there is a line outside for the boss to be, and I'm not in that line, guys. Just that you know.
You'd be. I don't know why you're not at the front of the line.
You're just going to be drinking your Buffalo Trace in your nice cabin there.
Exactly, yeah. I'm in my nice cabin office. I'm just drinking my Buffalo Trace and be happy for the rest of my life,
Could they give you like a
Buffalo Trace enough to work there? No.
I feel like Guenther, like it's like when they said when Jonathan Wheatley got that job at Audi. I was like, damn, I want that job. I want the job where you just talk, you do the talking. You know what I mean? None of the technical stuff. You're just the guy that has the riz.
Guys, if you do something like this, it's like you want to do it. That's what it is. If you've got 7 people running a company, it's no point to be one of the 7, especially a racing team. And I think with Cadillac, there is I don't know the structure with this, and it's not my problem anyway. So it's for me, it's one of these things. It's a project which has just started, and it's already crowded there, in my words, So they don't need me in the crowd. I don't want to be part of the crowd. You're disappointed.
You can make me say what my parents used to say to me. Just a lack of ambition. Lack of ambition.
I've got ambition, but, I focused on somewhere else.
I hand you president of FIA. I hand you president of Cadillac, and you just swatted him away.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe you
they're waiting for the bigger thing.
Guenther. Maybe you could be the new race director, because the current race director, the new race director, likes littering on the track for his first race that he's on. Did you see this clip, Guenther?
No? Which clip?
There was a clip.
Jenny, can we get the clip up, please?
I didn't see that one.
Show him the clip. Show him the clip.
A fan took a video of one of the safety car, one of the just regular road cars was on the thing. The new race director, what's his name?
Rui Marquez. We better remember that name, yeah.
Rui Marquez was driving around the track, and then he gets out of his car, and a fan takes a video of him getting out of the car and throwing a piece of trash, on the track.
That's not good. I thought he was cleaning up the trash.
It was already a controversial move. It was already a controversial move. You fire the race director that people seem to like, the last race director.
They didn't dislike him. A race director will be never liked. He's not disliked. Put it this way. That's already an achievement.
That's as good as you're going to get.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not being disliked, that is what you get. Yeah,
right,
that's the best you can get. Yeah.
And now this guy, day one, is throwing trash on the track where it's his first race.
That's not good. If the president sees this, that's not good. Or maybe he's not there in the next race then, you never know.
Or was this an order from the president? Is he trying to he must be, it's just his guy. If you're going to fire the previous guy, there's obviously political stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't really understand the full breadth of. Yeah. It just seems like a crazy move.
Absolutely, How did we get to Rui Marquez throwing trash on the stuff from Cadillac?
Well, I was saying that you should maybe be the new race driver.
Okay. No, exactly. No. Go back to that one. No, as I said, nobody likes you anyway if you're doing that one. So why would you do it?
So what is the dream job?
Doing as little as possible.
Just a lack of ambition, guys.
Yeah, as your parents said, lack of ambition.
Just a lack of ambition.
My dream job is there's a lot of dream jobs, but sometimes you have to wait until the dream job comes. I always.
I'm just becoming.
I'm going to
sit on your ass and let it come to you. I see.
Exactly.
That's not how the world works, Guenther. Yeah. It's not how the world works.
No, he's just like how that's what Max Verstappen told Lando he needs to do. Max Verstappen said, "Lando, just be patient. It'll come to you. You'll win a champion. You'll win a championship at some point, Lando. Just be patient. Just
but this one I win. But this one I win, he said.
Guenther,
this one
Guenther,
let me
what
win
did
it.
You wanna,
yeah, he said, this one I win. Maybe next one I win. Anyone where I'm actually maybe going to win, you just got to sit around and just wait for your turn.
Guenther, what did you want to be when you grew up, like as a kid?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think I always wanted to be me,
You were like, I'm going to be a reality TV star.
Mission accomplished, Guenther. Mission accomplished.
Exactly, yeah.
Vegas, not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do the things you love, like going to an F1 race. Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App was just a way to send people money. Hey, Cash App me for that. But it's a way faster and simpler way to bank. You can start saving with as little as $1, no hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, no account fees. And we all know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you can get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. It pays to get paid on Cash App, so go download the app today. What are you doing? Now back to the show.
All right. Let's get into our awards for this week. Let's start off with Rockstar and Wanker of the Week, brought to you by Cash App. Guenther, who was your wanker for Las Vegas?
Whoa. Who was the wanker?
Was it maybe Alpine?
Blowing an engine? I
Blowing
mean, you
an
cannot
engine
call them wankers.
not only-
Blowing an engine, and they had one car left, and they forgot to, they weren't there for his pit stop, Ocon's pit stop.
Yeah, let's do Alpine, because they should have taken that advantage, they had in qualifying and getting some bloody points, because they were quick enough to get points, but they messed it up, they fucked it up.
They're like 1 or 2 points behind Haas now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they had a chance to get an advantage of 3 or 4 points, and 20 millions later, So anyway, wanker of the week, Alpine.
Like it. All right, who's your rock star? Who's your rock star for Vegas?
Obviously, Max for winning the championship.
I mean, yeah, hard to
beat that
argue.
one. Hard to beat that one,
Yeah.
Oh, the only one which could beat it was Mercedes by being dominant there, from out of nowhere. But anyway, I think Max winning his 4th championship, that's pretty a rocky moment.
And it seemed like he was rocking out at the paddock. He was drinking a G&T.
Double fisting G&Ts. I think there was a clip of him, I think, in the garage singing "We Are the Champions," looking like he was,
Oh, he will have had a hard night afterwards.
Having a good time. Yeah. He was having a good time.
He deserved it,
Love it. All right. Legendary moment of the week brought to you by Sunoco.
Yuki scoring points.
No,
Yuki scoring points and hitting that fucking bollard. Going airborne.
Yeah, but it's not the moment. Louis going from 10th to 2nd, That's not the moment. But
Wait a minute. Guenther.
What's wrong with that one?
What about Checo's double overtake? Going from 14th to 12th. Wow. What about that one?
Wow. I'm really impressed by that. That's not a legendary moment.
Why not? Why not? Did you not see it? He did a double overtake from 14th to 12th, and one of the guys was Liam Lawson, who gave him the middle finger in who gave him the middle finger in Mexico.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
14 to 12, nobody cares.
All right, so you want to give it to Lewis?
Yeah, to Lewis from 10 to 2nd. Yeah,
that was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. We did have a guy who we were with. We were with some people from Friday Beers who don't know much about F1, and he had put a lot of money on Lewis. And then Lewis was starting out of position, so the odds were even better. So we doubled down on Lewis.
On getting on the podium or winning?
Winning.
Oh,
now I know it was tough. But there was a period there where it was looking like, oh, man, is he about to... I mean, he was flying.
Also, George is great at blowing things like this.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I was shocked that he didn't put it into the wall. He almost did on the last lap. He really almost did.
So how in control do you think George is right now of the team? It feels like Toto's like, you're my favorite son.
Yeah, he has to because the other one is going, So.
Right, but here's the thing: it's awkward, right? Because he's got Kimi coming in, and he's openly courting Max.
But Kimi cannot come in as a leader, And Max has not decided. I mean, Max said this weekend, he wants to stay now with Red Bull, but Max changes his.
But if Max changes his mind, who's getting the boot? It's got to be George, right?
Let's see what Kimi can do. If Kimi is not good, Toto will not, because Kimi hasn't driven an F1 car, or not in a race, obviously, So let's see what he can do
Kimi
first before we...
Kimi looked good in Monza. Oh, wait. Threw it into the wall.
I wish somebody talked to me like that after I made such a big mistake. Toto seems to love him. He threw it into the wall in FP1 or whatever.
He wouldn't have told you if you threw it into the wall. He wouldn't have been as nice to you like he was with Kimi.
He wouldn't have
Don't
said
worry about
all good, Kimi. All good,
Kimi. Do it again. Do it again, Kimi. Yeah. He has got plenty of money, Kimi. It's good. Good job, Kimi. Yeah.
How mad were you at Giovinazzi when he threw it into the wall?
Fuck, I was mad.
Did you say anything to him?
No. I normally don't speak when I'm pissed because it's not good for me, not good for him.
Okay. So you just gave him a silent treatment?
I just looked at him and shook my head. Buddy, if you had a chance, you blew it now.
If there were... Okay, what's the time... What's the most kind of...
Actually, Giovinazzi was very nice with me in Las Vegas. Once he was driving in, from where you take the shuttle to get over that bridge because you cannot walk.
Yeah.
And, he was there being driven in. He stopped and took me and my family on board in a Ferrari Puro Sangue, and we drove in there, That's nice.
How lovely is that?
He took you in a... You actually got into a Ferrari four-door?
Yeah. In the back, obviously. Why is that?
I thought the Ferrari purists hate the Ferrari four-door.
I'm not a Ferrari purist. I take any ride. I would take I don't care what it is.
I don't know. You haven't seen Matt's Toyota Corolla. Because I don't know if you'd get in that one, Guenther.
Is it nasty?
Wait, so Giovinazzi saw you walking across the bridge and pulled over?
No, before. I was walking towards the shuttle, and he drove in with his driver, And they stopped and said, we want a lift? Sure, I want a lift, you know.
Did you tell him to be more careful with your family than
he wasn't driving? He has
thank
the
God.
driver.
Oh, good.
And the driver was the guy, you know, which owned the Fiat Cinquecento when I did the episode with Mattia.
Wow.
So it's all coming together, you know. We know each other, you know.
Full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
So Giovinazzi's a nice guy.
Yeah, very
maybe
nice
that's
guy.
maybe that's not why he's not in F1.
Exactly.
Well, okay, wait, Guenther, we were talking about the nice guy thing earlier. Who's the nicest guy or gal in the paddock?
There's thousands of nice people in there.
But who's the nicest?
I don't know who is the nicest. Because if I say one is the nicest, then the other ones will say, "Why? I thought it was me," you know.
Well, if that that person is automatically not the nicest if they're competitive about their niceness.
Yeah, but there is not many nice people in Formula One.
Okay, who's the nicest team principal?
None of them.
Okay, who's the nicest driver you've ever worked with?
In which sense nice? Nice as a person, nice as a driver?
Nice as a person.
Esteban Gutierrez. Very nice guy. Very nice guy, you know, very nice guy.
And who's the meanest? Remember, in this context, it's good. Okay, fine. We'll move on. Okay. Who was the most perfectly untamed driver or moment this week? Brought to you by our new partners at Buffalo Trace. Who was perfectly untamed in Vegas?
I would say Carlos Sainz, because he was untamed. He did do what he wanted to do.
He wanted to run his own strategy. He didn't listen to team orders.
He's a little bit like you. Just does what he wants to do.
Handsome as hell.
I wouldn't go this far, you know. But anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah,
listen.
you grow a beard like him. I mean, you know.
And that's where the comparisons start and end.
Yeah, exactly.
And his voice is kind of similar. It's tough to listen to, you know.
Yeah.
We both have sort of great voices that grate on people. What's his voice? His voice is so strange. He has a strange voice.
I never noticed that, but he just speaks like his father. It's the same thing, you know. So I maybe used too much to it, you know. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Brian.
He did not do the team said we're not doing this, and don't worry, Charles. He's gonna be a good boy. And then he said, I'm not doing what you say. I'm passing this guy. He's on cold tires. I don't give a shit.
Also, I want to give Yuki a honorary mention for Perfectly Untamed, because he outqualified Liam Lawson, who's been sent there to destroy him. He got held up in customs. Did you hear about this, Guenther?
Yeah, I read about this. Yeah.
Yeah, he was held up. He showed up in the United States in pajamas, and he told everyone he was a Formula One driver. They were like, "No, you're not." And then they held him up for 3 hours. Shows up, outqualifies his teammate, gets points, hits the bollard, goes skyward, tells Will Buxton that he shit his pants on international television, and then apologizes. That's pretty untamed.
Yeah, and you got a soft spot for Yuki-san.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
It's not only a soft spot. I mean, they thought Liam Law. Listen, and I think that they're not. There's not a huge gap between them. Liam's had his number a couple times, but Yuki. You know, if they thought that Liam was going to come in here and just dominate Yuki and get that Red Bull seat, he's a teammate killer.
Yeah, he should get a chance at Red Bull. That's what we are saying, huh? Get him into the Red Bull, yeah.
Get him into the goddamn Red Bull seat.
Yeah, and get him out of his pajamas, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Have you ever had trouble, Guenther? Have you ever had trouble? Like you've been flying internationally, going to these races. Have you ever gotten stopped at customs? Have you ever had to show yourself? I know I am who I say I am. I swear to God. No. It's a team. It's owned by this guy. He has a NASCAR team. No, we get our parts from all over the world. No, we're an upstart. Do people not believe you? The Haas story is pretty, unbelievable.
No, they didn't stop me for that. They didn't recognize me, so it's fine.
Pre-Drive to Survive.
I got stopped once, I think, I got stopped once.
And they were like, Haas? That's not a real F1 team.
I think that was pre-Haas, That was pre-Haas. I'm living here a long time,
Right.
Yeah.
Bankers, this episode is brought to you by Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Buffalo Trace is crafted at the oldest continually operated distillery in America. The distillery has been making whiskey since 1773. That's 250 years. Buffalo Trace, the flagship bourbon from the world's most award-winning distillery, has a bold, robust flavor that is still incredibly smooth since it's aged 7 to 8 years for an elevated taste. Ahead of the next race, grab a bottle of Buffalo Trace and discover for yourself why this whiskey wins so many awards. Drink it straight or try in a Buffalo Old Fashioned. Buffalo Trace, American-made, family-owned, and always perfectly untamed. Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume, proudly produced at Buffalo Trace Distillery, Frankfort, Kentucky.
We'll get into a couple fan questions, we'll get predictions, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, first fan question. Okay, this is from M. Golob. How does an 11th team affect things on and off track?
On track, I mean, I think all the circuits now have got an additional garage, but otherwise it's not affected. It's just they need some space, which is not, in some racetrack there is not enough space anyway, but they will somehow fit them in. But otherwise, on the track, on the real racetrack, there's no, I mean, there's 2 cars more, but there's enough space there, but not off the track. It affects it financially for the other teams, obviously, because they will get less money, because now what they have to share with 11 and not instead of 10. And I think, decision making, there is the governance has that in mind. If there is an 11 team in, how that is made, but it's all, there is no big surprise. I think nothing which isn't covered.
And who are you putting, I know this isn't one-to-one related to what was just asked, but speaking of Cadillac, I'm putting you up for team principal of Cadillac, even though you don't want the job because you lack ambition. If you were team principal of Cadillac, who are the drivers for 2026?
Wow. Who is available for 2026? I think there is Bottas available. I would go with experience if I would be them. Bottas and who else experienced guy?
Yuki would be available probably.
Yeah, but Yuki doesn't want to go there because he will be at Red Bull maybe. So why would he go there? You need to have somebody who is unemployed. Otherwise, he wouldn't go there.
Why don't we bring in an American?
What about an American driver?
This is an American team. Cadillac coming in, bringing some American energy. If you were going to put one American driver in that seat, who do you think it's going to be? Who would you put in?
Colton Herta at that point. I think he has got of the drivers which can learn it, but has he got enough?
Not currently.
Okay.
Not currently.
He would need to win next year in IndyCar to have that.
It's interesting because you think Newgarden's too old
to make the change, because it will take a few years until you get used to it. And
I see.
And he might be too big.
No, I think he's not bigger than Hülkenberg. I think that he would fit. He's about the same size as Hülkenberg, yeah. That is not the problem, but you need a few years, and that's the only risk with Colton Herta. Does he burn his career up? Because it's a new team, and the expectation cannot be high, to be honest. If we are realistic, we need to be realistic. So a new driver in Formula 1, which was never in Formula 1, neither was in Formula 2, nor in F3, coming into F1, a lot of pressure on, and he ends up being nowhere. What does that do to your career? He will not get a seat at Ferrari or Mercedes, He will be in and out. That's the only risk he takes. But if he wants to take it to be in Formula 1, why not?
Well, he can always go back to IndyCar.
Yeah, but that's difficult, to make a step forward, to make 2 backward, It's like, I don't know if that works in life, So anyway, but it's his decision. I mean, he needs to see what he wants to do.
You're really selling, as team principal of Cadillac, you're really selling Colton on this. It's kind of going to be tough. You might ruin your career.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
I'm not selling it. I'm being realistic about it, because it's called experience. You cannot tell people something which isn't there, because then they get pissed with you afterwards.
Is this how you recruit? Is this how you recruit drivers? Yeah, it might ruin your career. Is this how you do it?
I wouldn't recruit him. As I said, I would put 2 experienced drivers in just to make the team grow. Because it's no point to put a driver in and hoping that he does well if the team is still not ready for it, and the team cannot be ready.
You do Bottas, and then maybe who's even around, like K-Mag?
K-Mag, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
There we go.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you put them in. They've got plenty of experience. They really would bring the team forward, in my opinion.
What about Grosjean? Throw him back in.
Wow.
He's like, don't give me nightmares. Okay, we got another fan question. This is from Nora Berg 06. If you could bring back one GP to the calendar, which one would it be?
Kialami.
South Africa.
South
right?
Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the World Championship the World Championship should go to all the continents, in my opinion. And I have never been at Kialami, but it's a good place. Everybody tells me, the racetrack is good, so I think Formula One should go back there.
Love it. Okay, Qatar's coming up. What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to be strong? Who do you think is going to be weak? Who's winning this thing?
I think the McLaren will be back on form in Qatar.
Okay.
They were off form in Las Vegas. I think they're back in form. And then I think their biggest threat there will be the Ferraris. Therefore, we go for a good manufacturers championship countdown.
So what's the podium there?
Norris, Leclerc, Sainz.
There you go. And what do you usually look out for in Qatar? What do you got to look out for?
I think Qatar is nothing. Normally the heat, but it should be better this year. I didn't check the temperature because last year it was really hot, but I think it should be, because it's quite a bit later in the year, they should be okay. That's what you have to look out for. I think they changed the curbs as well. That was a big issue last year. I need to check, but I think they for sure changed it because Pirelli was challenged because they got cracks in the tires because they went over the curbs and then back in. But otherwise, it's a pretty... it's a good circuit, but it's pretty standard. There's nothing too exciting except these two things. But I think they're both looked after by having the race later and having changed the curves.
And if the in terms of the Constructors' Championship, if the McLarens score 20 points over the Ferraris in Qatar, it's over.
Yeah.
So if they make a 20-point jump...
I think that they're not going to do that. I think there is a showdown in Abu Dhabi for the championship.
I like it. At least we got one championship going for Abu Dhabi, and you're holding on McLaren.
Yeah,
for the constructors.
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it from the man himself. That's Guenther Steiner. This was Wanker Hours. We got an interview with Zach Brown coming out next week on Wednesday. It was a great time talking to him. And at the end of the season, we're going to be doing the Vankies, which is our awards ceremony where we're going to give out a bunch of fun awards for this season, the 2024. It's been a great one. And that's all we got for you, folks. Until next time.
Goodbye, Vankers.
Goodbye, Wankers.
Goodbye, Vegas.